See, the entire purpose of me talking like this every Wednesday evening is to encourage you to think, and to raise you to the best standard of yourself, to be the best that you can ever be in this moment. We do need motivation. We do. Because energy is such that it rises and falls. You eat a good meal, you feel a little bit lethargic after that, and then the energy rises after an hour or so, and then the energy falls. You've worked all day, you come home in the evening, the energy has fallen, you need something to pick you up. The source, I always refer to it as the source. You can call it the higher power. You're welcome to call it God. You're welcome to call it anything you want. Barbie doll. Whatever you wish. That's up to you. That source is where you rest. That source is where you pick yourself up. That source is available to each and every one of us. We access it on a daily basis. We know about it on a daily basis, but we don't recognize it. We don't recognize it, and then we look for something outside in our world to give us that rest, to give us that knowledge, to give us that peace, to give us that enrichment. We look outside of ourselves for every kind of fulfillment, and the world, the way it is, can never give it to you. Never, ever. Not a person in the world, not a thing in the world. None of it can ever give you the true peace and the true bliss of source. To talk about God is the same thing as to talk about this presence that you feel every moment. To feel this moment with everything it brings. Good, bad, and not waste the moment praying for a better future. If you pray for something else, it obviously means that you are completely dissatisfied with what is happening. Because this moment is complete. It is your only reality. Everything else is a memory, a hope, a story in your head, an unrealistic fear, some other story in your head, an anxiety, a third story in your head, a memory, another story in your head. But you say, no, the memory is real. Sure, it's real, but is it true? Because what is true never changes. It's not true 1 minute and false after 5 minutes. But is your memory true? Can you remember everything exactly as it happened? Exactly as with the feelings, with the emotions, with everything? No. It's just a little snapshot that comes back in your head. And you're seeing the past in the present. You can never bring a portion of life and say, this is true. It is not true, it is real. It is real, for sure, you're seeing it. It happened. But it's not true because it doesn't stay. It's there and it's gone. Why does every religion say there is only one true God? Huh? Have you ever wondered? Every religion says that it's one true God and give me all your money. I know the truth. Yes, I know the truth. But you do too. You do too. There is only one true God. There is only one source. And each of us access it all the time. All the time. Everything that you do is witnessed. Every emotion that you have felt is witnessed. Every loss that you have experienced is witnessed. Every financial gain that you've experienced is witnessed. There is something that is behind and through everything that's always there. That's always behind it. That's always quiet, unchanging, non-judgmental. And you know this because have you ever felt, I am not? Have you? That I don't exist. I am not. No. And when did it start? Can you point a time when it started? Timeline. Okay, when I was baby, when I was in the fetus, when I was in the embryo, whatever. When did it start? It's always been there. It's always there. The truth is always there as a witness to all that happens. The problem is you get caught in the drama of life. And now you're sitting and praying to some God, I don't know which God, who is not listening, who is incapable of listening to so many people, and so many animals, and so many insects, and so many flowers and trees. This silent God, you know it because you are it. You are that silent God that witnesses everything, that never judges. Never judges. The only thing that sits in judgment is your mind. The only thing that sits in judgment is your mind. And it is that mind that tells you, I have no power, you are useless, you are not worth anything, you are too poor, you are incapable, you can't do anything. Pray to God. Break 100 coconuts. It'll all be right. Go immerse yourself in the Jordan River. It'll all be right. Walk around Guadalupe on your knees. It'll all be right. And sometimes it happens that you do all these things and it all becomes all right. Because in any case, life's like that. Sometimes it's not right. Sometimes it's right. Isn't it? We have this and we have that. Life is full and it's empty. You see, we've not learned to look at space. We can only see space if it's inside a box. Now this box is empty. It's my donation box, but it's empty. All right? Or is it? Or is it? if I removed the space, if I suctioned out the space, what would happen to this beautiful Hamsa box? It would collapse in itself. Right? It is the space inside it that actually defines the outside. So it's the outside that makes the inside, and the inside that makes the outside. Can we have an outside without an inside? No, we can't. We can't. But we're only looking at the outside and we're forgetting about the inside. This inside that only you realize it when I talk about the screen, when I talk about the wave, when I all these metaphors that I constantly give in class. The famous Vedantic wave, Vedantic story was about a little wave that was like terrified. It was heading towards the shore and it was terrified. And it looked at the big wave and said, "You're so lucky, you've reached such heights. I'm just a little wave and I'm going to crash on the shore. And then it's all going to be over and my life is finished." And the big wave said, "Don't worry, because you're just water. You're the ocean. You're the ocean itself. You are all the waves." And in that moment, the little wave cannot believe it, that he's so little and there's this big wave and the big wave's going to crash too. But the big wave's not worried because it realizes that the wave is nothing but the ocean. You see, we never realize that we are that God, that divine, and this body is nothing. This body is nothing because that God, that's the higher power, right? We look at our outer space, right? And we only look at it and define it in terms of the objects we see in it. The planets. Nobody talks about the space that's there, without which there is no planet. In the same way, this body, this mind, we get so focused on how our mind controls us that we don't see ourselves as that supreme power. And now, because there is so much misery caused by the mind, there is so much wretchedness, we have lost that sense of I can do it. The happiness lies in me. And we only think that by praying, everything else is going to become all right. You have lost the confidence in the now, in the presence. And sometimes praying and existing, practicing presence is the same thing. Except that when you practice presence, you just are. Does that mean that you lose everything? No, you don't. Because in this moment, whatever needs to be done, you do. You do what needs to be done right now. And by doing that, you sow the seeds of a bountiful harvest. Every harvest begins by planting the seeds. If your seeds are rotten, the harvest will be rotten. The quality of your time today is all that matters. It is all that matters. Because just like the church and the temple are saying that you're doing God's work, yes, you are. Each one of us is doing God's work. Every action that you perform is God's work. Are you doing it fully present? With no motive, except to do? Or are you doing it for some perceived benefit? Whatever it is that you're getting, a name for yourself, money for yourself, all of these things that you think you're getting, that you think you are, you're going to be leaving behind very soon. And all that remains is presence and source. The reason I don't believe in an outside God in the way presented by religions is because I have a direct experience of the source. I experience the source daily, through the day, in various ways, by observing my mind. And as you observe the mind quietens down, and then the kind of thoughts that it's throwing out becomes less and less. The more you meditate, the more you are able to observe that mind. And the more you give yourself practice during meditation, the more that feeling comes in the quality of your day. And then there are just blank spaces. There are blank spaces of nothing. But in that nothing is everything. Because truly, the purpose of my existence is to feel the presence, to feel the peace, and to transmit it to as many people as I can, so that they may feel it too. Words are great, right? They only allude, they only point to something. Your own experience, go with that. Your own experience. Go with that. Go with that witness. Feel that witness all the time. That I'm cooking. How do I know I'm cooking? Something is watching this cooking. And if you try to approach that something, you probably will never reach it, because the eye can never see the eye. When you behold the world, eye always sees an object. This entire world is an object. But you, the eye that you refer to, that is the subject. The subject cannot see itself as an object. How can it? How can it? And we try to do that. We try to say, oh, I want to be enlightened. I want that thing. I want lights going off. And, feathers and balloons going up in the air. And I want to feel light and head up towards the sky. And I want to see Jesus and I want to see Krishna. We want to see God as an object. But how can a subject ever be that? Once you recognize that, you see God in everything. It's all part of the divine. This body, that light, the fan, the pillar, all of it is part of the whole. There is only one God, and you are that. Hi everyone, if you watched my video and you liked it, please do leave a comment or a suggestion. I love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit the red subscribe button so that I can bring more content just like this to you. Happiness is your birthright.